very much for the nice introduction, Professor Schütt. I have a presentation today. We are broadcasting here live from Rostock. And basically, we tried to show in the background the cranes, how they are produced on our test field. But we just realized that the sun is very bright in Rostock. Usually it never rains. And therefore, my face was not to be seen. Therefore, we changed everything. And therefore, we only have the background, the posters. But I prepared a presentation to show you what we are doing here in Rostock. And I picked one of my hard pieces here, which is the mobile harbor crane, the Liebherr mobile harbor crane. And I just want to briefly go through and show what the kind of versatile port around this machine is. So let me start the presentation. So is this the presentation to be seen for everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay, perfect. So as said, we are here live in Rostock where we produce the cranes from my perspective, and also I think from the perspective of many other people, the most beautiful and best cranes in the world. And as said, I picked the mobile harbor crane, the Liebherr mobile harbor crane. And what I want to say in this presentation, the first outline here would be I show the applications. So what are you doing with this crane? How is this of benefit for your port? Secondly, the applied modularity. This means how can you adapt the crane to your needs at the port, size-wise, maneuverability-wise, space-wise, and also the vessels that you want to, or the cargo that you want to handle. And one thing which we are very proud of, just a few slides, Liebherr made in Germany. The cranes, I will come later to this, are still engineered and produced in Germany. I want to show you a brief overview about this. So we start with the applications the machine was made for. So the mobile harbor crane, as you see here, is capable of doing container handling, not just from small barges, but also for the very, very large or ultra large container vessels. With our LHM 800, which is the biggest machine that we have, we are capable of serving vessels with 22 rows across, which are not yet the biggest anymore, but used to be the biggest at the time where the 800 has been developed. So of course you can do with this machine fully automatic spreaders, semi-automatic spreaders, single lift, twin lift, and of course every kind of applications. The latest ones are maybe bulk containers which you can rotate. So this crane is capable of doing all this. With the same machine, you can also do the bulk handling. You see here an LHM 550 using a clamshell grab and operating into a hopper. So of course we have several crane sizes, from very small cranes up to very big cranes, very large cranes. With the biggest one, the 800, which I have mentioned, we are capable, and we have seen already, handling rates up to 2,300 tons per hour of material. So of course depends on the density and what kind of material, and for sure it's a peak number, but in average you can easily use or achieve numbers of 1,500 to 1,800 tons, example coal. Various types of grabs, of course, we are using these machines not just in dry bulk handling, but also with orange peel grabs in scrap handling, and every kinds of other grabs that you can use, not just mechanical, but also electro-hydraulic. Here you see this, it's, as said, the same machine in general cargo handling. So every kind of cargo that you can imagine, what you basically want to bring from the shore to the vessel or the other side around, can be made with this machine, with one machine. This is the versatility I talked about from the beginning. So one major point here, the lifting attachments can be changed very easily. So you can change from hook to the grab to the spreader within approx, depends a bit, 20 minutes, 15 minutes. So you're capable of changing to every kind of situation you face in the port. Here you see our 800. This is Port of St. Petersburg. Very nice picture, because you not only see the mobile harbor crane in the front, but also here, you see my mouse, you see the ship-to-shore cranes that we are producing as well. So it's a nice combination of Liebherr equipment. This crane is the biggest, strongest crane in the market, in the mobile harbor crane market, with a maximum lifting capacity of 308 tons, metric tons on the hook. And this means for the port that you are complete different new levels in the port. So I know when we compare mobile harbor cranes, I don't know how familiar you are with mobile harbor cranes, but if you hear 308 tons, it seems compared to a crawler, I know that somebody will say, okay, my crawler has 600 tons, but we're talking here about 308 tons at 60 meters outreach. And this crane is still capable of doing 200 tons at nearly 30 meters outreach, means it can handle this heavy load directly above the vessel, which is totally different to a crawler, which has 600 tons, but only up to 3 meters, for example. So this is the largest one. One major point here, if you have two of them, you can even combine them and just double the lifting capacity of these cranes. And that means with 600 tons lifting capacity, you're capable of lifting basically everything that can be transported. So just a quick one, what the cranes are capable of. Now, does such crane fit into every port? The answer is yes. We have several modularity possibilities that we are using. One would be the general mobile harbor crane. You see it here, it's a rubber-tied undercarriage. The good thing about this one, you can drive it like a crawler, like on tracks, but with rubber tires so you don't harm the surface. This crane can go into every angle. Maybe one very interesting point here, if you have 3 or 4 cranes or more in a row working, this one can just move perpendicular away from the pier, not interrupting any other equipment working there. So the maneuverability is one of the major points of this unit. And also with a width of only 6 meters without supporting pads, it can basically travel to all ports everywhere in the world and all narrow stages. Secondly, we have the Liebherr portal slewing. You see this is a mobile harbor crane. You see on top, it's still, you see the slewing platform and the tower and the boom. It's a bit cut off, but we're talking about the portal. So it's a tailor-made portal, which we can adapt to your need. It means what kind of gauge you have, rail gauge you have, what kind of height do you need. So what trucks do you need to pass below underneath the crane? What trains do you need? Or do you maybe have already a trailing hopper sitting on your rails that we can put it together with these cranes, with the portal. So one very good solution, if the rails already exist, is this one. You see here the bogies. These are the rails, the contact to the rails where we have the wheels, the steel wheels, and we can adapt this also just to adapt this crane to every kind of force that is allowed on your rails. So further, Liebherr's fixed slewing crane. So basically here we cut off everything which is below the crane and just put it onto a pedestal. Very useful when we talk about very, very narrow piers, like you see in the picture, it's just a finger pier. In this case, it's working into a hopper. Later on, there will be a conveyor belt. But just imagine if you have this piece of finger pier, could also be perfectly used, or can also be perfectly used for transshipment. Just imagine one barge on the one side and the other the bigger vessel on the other side. You can just either transship dry bulk or containers or any other cargo. So without having basically a port, just a small finger pier. So one more application would be the barge crane. So you can not just put these cranes on land, it's not just a land-based crane, you can also just float it. This is very important if you want to have a self-propelled barge, you can drive it to everywhere the crane is needed to work, or you can just have a floating pier to adapt to high tides. You see here the crane, this is a crane at the Amazonas, and if I remember right, the tide difference in the Amazonas can be 70 meters and plus. So you're very happy that your crane is floating and not at the land. Then the latest application and the last also, then I'm done, because basically we have covered everything that is of importance here, is the Liebherr Portal Mobile. And you see it combines the advantages of a portal, means you can pass through over obstacle, you can let trucks and trains pass below the portal, but it's on rubber tires. So you can move this crane as like a mobile harbor crane, but with the advantages of a portal. So what I just wanted to say with all the things, I wanted to say, I believe we have the most beautiful cranes in the world, also the most versatile and reliable cranes. We can adapt these cranes to every port in the world. They are running or are run everywhere, and basically in every country you can imagine. I think the only country which ocean connection that don't have an LHM is North Korea, I think. So these units we have made available for every kind of pier, even older piers, weaker piers, because they are that flexible. And if you want to know anything more, of course you can contact me, I can advise further. And now one thing I mentioned in the beginning, what we do, these cranes are still made in Germany, here in Rostock. And not just made, but also developed. Steel processing, basically every shape you can imagine, like, I don't see that. Oh, yeah, yes, you see that. Like the tower, everything that we have here, the round shapes are produced here and welded here. So manufactured, fully assembled. This is a bit of a pity because I wanted to show you in the background we have the big test bench here. I wanted to show you our test bench and show that every crane that we are producing has been assembled here completely, fully tested in order to have the quality insurance in our hands. And basically after the production has been done, the crane has been assembled on the test field. You can basically just take the crane, drive it on the vessel and drive it off, drive to your voyage to your port and drive the crane off the vessel and start immediately working without long erection times. So customer service, we will hear from my colleague after this presentation, also based in Rostock as the headquarters. Of course, we have customer service hubs everywhere in the world to support every crane which is in operation from here to North America, Central America, everywhere, Asia. Training center, one very important point. If you're not familiar with mobile harbor cranes, don't be scared about it. I know it's a big machine and a lot of capabilities that you have. But before this crane will arrive at your port, you will be here or we are coming to you and we show you everything about the crane, which is the techniques inside. How can you handle the crane? So we don't even, not only train your operators, but also your technicians. And in Rostock, we still have sales. So where I'm based as well. So that was all. I hope you share my excitement about this product. If you need any further information, I have just put here my contact details. So it would be andreas.ritschel@liebherr.com. My mobile number is also there, but please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. And I'm happy to answer all the questions that appeared, or maybe later you're very happy to out any connection that we can make here. So thank you very much, and I hand back to Mr. Professor Schipp. Thank you.